Hey everyone, my name is the Theme Park Evangelist. Well, happy Canada Day if you were wondering why I'm wearing a Roots Canada shirt. So, Roots is a Canadian company, and today is July 1st, which, of course, as you guys may know, is Canada Day. Now, I don't know how well you guys can see me because it is kind of dark in here, and I probably should have thought about that before I started the vlog, but I'm going to go ahead and pause this really quick and turn on the light. Anyway, sorry about that. So, Canada Day was a holiday I used to celebrate up in my other country that I'm originally from for several years. When I was first growing up, I apologize. I must have had something on my face. I don't know what it was. But when I was in my high school years all the way up into my early college years when I had a lot more money and free time. And I shouldn't, and what I mean by money, I mean like less bills. I used to work at public supermarkets back then in Winter Haven, Florida, by Legoland, Florida. And oddly enough, Publix is really slow during the summer. I mean, especially down in Polk County, Florida, where I'm from. And like my average weekly hours were only 15 to 20. It was really bad. And we were at our busiest generally from September through April, when I knew for sure that I couldn't afford to take the time off. So I used to take 3 weeks off, and I would go late June all the way through mid July, something like that, up till late July, to go spend time with my family up in Canada, go spend time with my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. And it was, really coincidental that I would go during that time because my Aunt Gail has her birthday on July 13th. And we've always gotten along very well. And she's the only aunt I know that likes a lemon cake, so we would always bake her a lemon cake, and we would put money in it. So of course, Canadian coins, we would put like loonies, which is $1. So they don't use dollar bills; they use dollar coins, and then they would also, or we would also put toonies in the cake as well, which is a $2 coin. Sometimes you might wind up with a $2 bill and your wallet on the rare occasion here in the U.S. They are starting to circulate more. I actually still have one from '93, believe it or not, an American one, obviously. So anyway, yeah, that is a neat fun fact. I am half Canadian, but legally, when I do go through the border, I do have to declare I'm an American citizen because that is what it says on my passport, which I finally did get. Not even a couple of months ago. So, right at the beginning of the year, one thing I really wanted to do, and I've been actually planning this out for quite some time, was taking Katie to go and meet my mom's side of the family. And I've been, kind of talking to them, here and there. And we've officially settled on a specific time frame. So, I'm going to be taking Katie up during our Thanksgiving, and for them it's a very slow time of the year. So, because they celebrate their Thanksgiving in October, which is weird, during Columbus Day weekend. That's Canadian Thanksgiving weekend for those of you who do not know, and we're going to celebrate Christmas with them. That, and then we'll turn around and we'll celebrate Christmas again back here in Kentucky, unless for some reason things work out that we can go to North Carolina. But we'll see what happens. More than likely, we'll be having another Kentucky Christmas here again, which is always nice. I can't complain about that. So anyway, that is the game plan. Of course, I'll be giving me my first opportunity to introduce Katie, my fiance, to my mom's side of the family before we officially get married next August. So, that is one big YouTube video that I have, or big YouTube series, I should say, that I have coming up later in the year. And because today is July 1st, I made an announcement on my Facebook page right at 8 in the morning. For those of you who do not know, I've been utilizing the professional mode a lot more on my Facebook page, which allows me to type posts in advance, which I do all of that on Sundays and Mondays when I'm off from work. And I schedule them up to 3 weeks to 1 month in advance. And I always publish them to post at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is not too early, but not too late either, if that makes any sense. So, sorry, I got a message, and it wasn't anything too important right now. So, more or less, I announced on my Facebook page this morning that this month is actually a staycation month. And normally, about this time of the year, Katie's parents drive all the way up here from Eastern North Carolina to spend time with both of us and do some stuff with us. And normally they would come up for Katie's mom's birthday, my mother-in-law's birthday. But this year we decided to do something a little different. And they're actually going to be coming up for my father-in-law's birthday, as weird as it is. So we have been doing some research for the past couple of months as well. And we're going to actually be staying in a AIG. AIG is known as Answers in Genesis. Partnered hotel, actually over by the Florence Golden Corral. And it's not too far from where Katie is currently living. And the plan is to stay there from July the 25th all the way through July the 31st. So I will be staying there in that hotel with them. And it's ironic that we picked that same hotel because that hotel just happens to be the same exact one that my Uncle Bill and Aunt Jane, my mom's brother, in other words, and his wife, stayed in not even a couple of years ago. So I'll have to see for myself if I like it or not. So we have many things planned out, like checking out the Pompeii exhibit in Cincinnati, Ohio, before that goes away. Taking my in-laws to see the Florence 14 here in Florence and do the VIP showing of Twisters. I think that would be really neat to see. I'm also going to be seeing with my dad and my brother that same exact weekend that Katie and her parents are going to be up in Columbus, Ohio, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I'm very, very excited about that. That is like the movie, besides Inside Out 2, that I've been looking forward to all summer long. And I'm pumped. I'm excited. I've already got the tickets purchased. I'm glad I did because they have been selling out since they first went on sale 2 months before the movie was supposed to come out. Like, holy crap. So, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be a big one. And I thought Inside Out 2 tickets coming out 1 month in advance was big. But, yeah, I guess this is supposed to be the movie, quote unquote, of the summer. So, yeah, I'm definitely very excited. But that is just a small portion of what I have to offer. Obviously, going to do another tour of our hotel while I'm going to be staying there and showing you guys everything that they have to offer, including the continental breakfast, our room, the pool, the whole 9 yards. You better believe it. And the pool is outdoors, by the way. I've already gone to the hotel to check it out ahead of time off camera to see what it's going to be about. So anyway, for those of you who have been hanging in there the past 9 minutes, probably like waiting like, okay, David, get to the point. When are you going to get to the point? I am. Right now, actually. So, today is the fourth installment of my Theme Park Evangelist history series. And I've been talking about this quite a bit recently, just with my YouTube channel turning 8 years old in December, turning 10 in just a couple of years. I've been really wanting to do something really special. And I'm really trying to get more subscribers because TJ, my co-partner, who owns the Country Music Lover of Polk County YouTube channel, or who runs it really, he is quickly catching up. We cannot let that happen. So, I figured that this would be a great way to introduce brand new viewers to my YouTube channel, because I can go back and show everybody, or at least tell everybody, hey, this is what my YouTube channel was like in the past, and kind of get to know a bit about me. Especially for those of you who have only known me through work and you have no idea how fun I am outside of work. I mean, I'm trying to be more fun at work, but at the end of the day, when you're at work, you have to only be focused on the job, because you're there for the customer and not for your own self or your own self gain or whatever. Yes, I have Chick-fil-A, I know. And I work there too. I actually work at the local airport here, CVG. So it's too funny. I went to Chick-fil-A on my day off. But obviously, I can't go to my own Chick-fil-A on my day off, which I'm very thankful about. It's one place I don't have to see until tomorrow, and then I have to see it for 5 days straight. So, you probably might be wondering, but I only see 2 or 3 videos or whatever on your playlist. I do apologize. I accidentally deleted one, and I actually went and recapped that in the last one. So, today I wanted to talk about, as you say in the title, attending my first theme park grand opening. So, I have only attended one other theme park opening or grand opening in my lifetime, and that was Animal Kingdom, and that was back in 1999. Or 1998, 1999. But, keep in mind, I was 5 or 6 years old. I had no way of, thinking about becoming a YouTuber. And my parents are the only other ones that have been to one additional theme park grand opening aside from me. And that was Islands of Adventure. And I was 8 years old when Islands of Adventure first opened, if that says anything. That was back in 2001. That was the same year I actually decided to become a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ. So, hence the evangelist part of my YouTube channel. So, yes, 2001 is a significant year, but it's also a depressing year because literally after I got saved and baptized, 9/11 happened. Very depressing. But, yes, back in 2015, 2016, something like that, Universal made this huge announcement that they were going to be making their 3rd installment to their parks. And this park was going to be called Volcano Bay. It was going to be their very first water park. It really makes you feel like you're in Hawaii. So they finally made the official announcement that they were going to open the park to the public on Thursday, May 25th, 2017. Now, I was in college at the time. I was actually attending a local community college at the time called Polk State College. And, I decided to take the day off from college. If I remember correctly, I did contact the professor and let him or her know, hey, I won't be able to make it to class today. And, I got the permission. And I think I was supposed to take my brother to school that day, so for all I know, I may not have even been at school that day, so I don't remember now. But I do remember TJ was able to get a head start on me, and there was a really bad storm that morning. So TJ, having more free time, was able to go straight from his place back in Peddler's Pond when he was living there, which is part of Lake Wills, Florida, over to Volcano Bay. And I had to take my brother to school that morning. So as long as I was able to take my brother to school, he was able to get home. So I ran a little bit behind. And I remember I was actually driving by Disney, or through Disney Springs, because I always detour through Disney Springs to get to Universal, because 9 times out of 10, the traffic by Lake Buena Vista is out of control. I hate it, especially with all the construction going on. I can't wait for them to fix that. And so, I'm on the phone with TJ, and I had my red Ford Focus at the time, so I had the Bluetooth. And TJ said that they had just done the opening ceremony for the park, and the park, had not been officially opened yet. And he said that Tim was ironically standing just a few feet away from him, and he never even noticed him. I was like, that is so unfair. I thought it was so cool how he described the whole opening ceremony. Like, they had these, like, Hawaiian dancers, and they had a couple of other things. You can see it all on YouTube if you want to. It is there. The Tim Tracker did film it. And that's who I mean by Tim. So, and TJ is the guy, for those of you who do not know, that helped me start the YouTube channel in the first place. So finally, I get close and I start, rolling the camera. I had one of those camcorders at the time. I just got not even a month ago, and not even just a few months prior to that, I did my very first staycation with TJ. I mean, there really is nothing to talk about with that other than TJ and I almost died on our very first night of our staycation. And we rode in the very back row with Splash Mountain back when that was a thing. And we were the only ones on the boat, so every time the boat would start to go down a hill, it would go boom against the drop. It was hilarious because of my weight. But just a good memory I had, other than when we went to Old Town and somebody tried to con us into buying half-off wristbands from them, and we were like, no, we're going to pay full price, thank you, though. And that was the very first trip I ever rode Frozen Ever After for the very first time. And that was the very first time, and it's not the only time I ever vlogged Blizzard Beach ever, which is, interesting. Need to go back again, I really do. It's been a long time. So, I finally got to the parking garage, and I found it so interesting. You had to get on a bus, and then they would, and they always play a video, but, looking back, I was, very interested in the fact that they were playing a video all the way to the water park. It was all about these, magic bands, you could say, that called Tapu Tapu, and I was like, okay, well, that's weird. And, you're supposed to wear this the entire duration of your stay in the park. And I was like, okay. So, I finally got to the park, and, I'm walking through, I'm looking around like, where is this volcano at? And I can't see it. All I can see is freaking trees everywhere and exotic plants. And, I finally come upon an escalator after I go underneath a bridge, and I take the escalator up, and I continue on a little bit of a ways. And there is this, big park entrance, and it says Volcano Bay written all across it. You should have seen the line to get in the park. I was like, there was at least a few hundred people all trying to get through at the same time. So at this point, I caught up with TJ. We took some pictures, and we got in line together, and we waited at least 20 to 30 minutes just to get through, and they hand you a Tapu Tapu as you come in. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And we go in, and one of the first things I saw once I got to the actual park was the actual volcano. I had never seen the front of the volcano before. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Without showing pictures, obviously, I walked up, and it was literally the most realistic volcano I had ever seen, and it had a gorgeous waterfall just coming down the front, and I was just like, wow. And they were playing Polynesian style music throughout the entire park, and I felt at peace throughout the entire park. I was like, this is amazing. But it was so busy at the same time. And, there were certain portions of the park that I was walking around. And needless to say, I was slightly disappointed that they were still doing construction. And there were certain portions of the park where I could hear I-4 clear as day from inside the park, but it wasn't that bad of an experience. Now, there was a point when I was beyond disappointed. So the big push for Universal's Volcano Bay was Krakatoa. And the reason for that is because it was their very first water coaster. And they were trying to compete with Disney's Typhoon Lagoon with their Crush and Gusher. And we first tried to join the virtual queue because that's the whole point of the Tapu Tapu is to reserve yourself a virtual queue. And when we first joined it, it was a 5-hour wait. It was ridiculous. And I was like, oh my. And the ride just kept going down and going down and going down. We didn't do a whole lot. I kept looking over at their drop tower slide. So literally you get on a platform and you do this number and the platform drops out from underneath you and you just go down. And 7 years ago, I was a big chicken. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And thankfully at the time, I think I was too heavy. I don't remember what the weight limit is. I think at the time it was 250. I think now it's 300. So I'm obviously able to do it now. As you guys saw last Monday, I went and did my very first high ropes course or gravity ropes course at main event. And the weight limit is 300 pounds. I'm below 300 pounds. Yay! About time. So, yes, I potentially could go and do that. I probably have more courage than I did 7 years ago. And who knows? I might go do it next September. But, 7 years ago, I was like, no, you ain't getting me on that. But I was brave enough to go and do another water slide that looks intimidating too. So they have two slides next door to each other called Oh Yay and Oh No. So Oh Yay drops you into a pool from 6 feet. And then the other one, Oh No, drops you into a pool from 3 feet. And you're probably asking yourself, let me guess, David decided to ride the Oh No so he'd only drop 3 feet. Oh no, I wouldn't do the Oh Yay. I was like, I don't care about dropping 6 feet into a pool, but yet I wouldn't do the other one. That makes no sense. I know, go figure. And actually, by the way, I did go back another time to Volcano Bay, and I did ride the Oh No. And I also did ride Krakatoa, but that's another story for another time. So, as, far as, what else I did that day, I did ride, Iki Moana. Yeah, I know, Moana movie, right? I don't even, and it had just come out, not even the year before. And, that was, a cool ride. And the only problem I had with it was I ended up going backwards almost the whole way. And there was another slide that was an H2O slide. Or no, well, not H2O, but it was like one of those, like, big bowls where the tube keeps going around and around the circle, and then it goes down the funnel into a pool. And I did ride one of those for my very first time. It was intense. I think it's called an H2O bowl. And Kings Island has one of those at Soak City, and I still want to go try that out and see what it's like. Because I think that would be kind of cool to go and try one of those out. Especially at Soak City, because theirs looks pretty intimidating too, don't get me wrong. And you've seen it on Soak City, my Soak City vlogs quite a few times, that they clearly have a massive one. Probably as big as Volcano Bay's. At one point, TJ and I decided to stop and eat lunch at Volcano Bay. And we went to one of the barbecue restaurants. And I think alone for just my meal was like $20 now. Not Kings Island. Universal's Volcano Bay also does have Coca-Cola freestyle machines. One thing I do love about Universal is they do have specialty soda dedicated to Volcano Bay that's separate from the other two parks. So, sometimes I go over there and I try out the specialty soda. And, while I'm there, um, I'm trying out different sodas. But, as far as the lunch was concerned, it was really good. It had a ton of flavor, plenty of table space, plenty of condiments available, but the food was a little pricey for my liking. And that's something I have noticed with Universal is their food is a little too pricey. I mean, for crying out loud, they have something called a milkshake, and it acts more like a Wendy's Frosty. And every time I complain about it to TJ and Kay, well, especially Kay, don't ever argue with Kay about this. Don't ever tell Kay that a Universal milkshake should be called a Wendy's Frosty because she cusses me out for it. And it says that Wendy's already copyrighted the Frosty term, so I guess she ain't wrong. So, um, yeah, that's just my personal preference. But I will say that Volcano Bay does have some of the best barbecue I've ever had. So if you're at Universal and you happen to buy a 3 park admission, go over to Volcano Bay and try out their barbecue because it is definitely worth it. Lockers, there were surprisingly plenty of lockers. And I don't remember what their prices are anymore, but at the time, I thought they were actually really decent. Um, their lockers are very fancy. And another thing I really admired about Volcano Bay that I don't see very often in water parks, even at Soak City, is they actually have a shampoo container in each of their showers. So if you were to take a hot shower after you got done in the water park, you can actually shampoo your hair because they do provide that for free. And I think that is really neat that they do that. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I never would have guessed that. So honestly, Volcano Bay does have some of the best restrooms for a water park. Their lockers are very high tech. Um, I those are some of the positives. I would say theming, unbelievably impressive. Food, definitely up there. Um, Hidden, yes and no. Like once, like the reveal to get into the park, yes. As far as if you're driving on I-4, it kind of stands like a sore thumb. And I mean, I can say the same thing from if you're standing in the Universal parking garage, you can still see Volcano Bay clear as day. And it's just like, it really just depends on how you look at it. As far as a variety of intense rides, definitely up there. They have a lazy river that I did ride on my second time there. The very first time I tried their Fearless River, their Fearless River is really cool. I would not recommend it for a young kid that does not really know how to swim very well because it might throw them off and it just might be one of those those one of those things that they just cannot handle. Their wave pool, it looks pretty neat. I did stand in it. It wasn't all what I thought it would be. Even the very first time I went in it, I was like, it's all right, but it's not great either, if that makes any sense. And as far as like overall rating on my very first time I was very disappointed. There was plenty of media crews there, and there was one that interviewed both TJ and I individually, and I don't remember what I said anymore at the time, but I definitely said I would like to see some improvements. That was something I definitely hinted at, and I did, and we did end up going to guest services to complain about how many things were broken down that day, the long waits, and all the technical issues. And Universal has had a history of this, unfortunately. A lot of times they open something brand new, there's always a lot of technical issues. And it usually takes them a while to get them all fixed. And they did give us free tickets. They did give us free parking. So that's why I mentioned the second time a few times, because TJ and I did come back a second time, and I did not YouTube that day, and that was the very first time to try Krakatoa. The only thing that I did not think in advance about when I went the second time was I had mowed the lawn earlier that day, but I had accidentally dehydrated myself. And I have learned from personal experience what it is like to be severely dehydrated at a theme park in Central Florida. And it results in vomiting. It is not a good thing. I hadn't even made it on the ride yet, and I had already gotten sick. I was like, oh no. Or I had just gotten off the ride and I vomited. Like, I guess the intensity of the ride mixed in with not being dehydrated or not hydrating myself enough, and then I still wasn't really hydrating myself enough or as much as I should have, and I'm getting sick from it. So I ended up going home early. And I definitely learned from that experience. It's always good to stay hydrated. Like, that's why I try to drink a proper balance of water throughout the day. And on my days off, I do try to drink a little bit more sugar because I don't get a lot of that at work. So, I mean, other than coffee, but my balance at work is usually water and coffee. And then on my days off, I try to drink a little bit of everything. So, yeah, I've seen people pass out from dehydration at Disney and Universal. Not a good thing. And then to deal with it yourself is even worse. So, as far as like how would I rate Volcano Bay, even my very first time to Soak City, for example, in my local water park. And honestly, in a nutshell, I would say Soak City is better laid out. It definitely feels more secluded. You can see part of Soak City from the parking lot. You cannot see Soak City all that well from the interstate. You can see a little bit of it, but not much. Soak City has really good food and beverage options. Unlike Volcano Bay, unfortunately, Soak City does not have a lot of places to sit down and eat. And I think that's something that Universal did a lot better. Universal Volcano Bay also has a lot more chairs laid out than Soak City does for you to just lay down and relax on. And I think even Universal has more cabanas than Soak City does. I do like the fact that Soak City does not use the tapu system. Personally, I think there are some advantages and disadvantages to Universal's tapu system. And especially the very first time I went, the tapu system was very glitchy. Versus I go to Soak City, and even when it's like really busy, they have a very good system going. Like, one time through the lazy river and you're done. You want to ride again, you have to get back in line. Their line moves pretty fast. Your average wait time for a water slide is anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, no more. That's pretty good, actually. I think Volcano Bay is definitely more safety conscious. I think Soak City is working on it, but they definitely need some work to do. I know the very first time I went to Volcano Bay, they were very safety conscious, and I love that about them. And I would say another thing, or like if I had one final thought, I would say even Soak City's lockers are nowhere as nice as what they have at Volcano Bay, and let alone their restrooms are definitely not as nice as Volcano Bay's. So, there are advantages and disadvantages. I mean, yes, I like Soak City better, and that's another vlog I can talk about another time, why I like Soak City better than Volcano Bay. You heard some of my thoughts, but Yes, if I were to say, if I were to compare my very first time to Volcano Bay versus my very first time to Soak City, definitely was more impressed by my very first time to Soak City, but I would say overall, like, what park do I like better, Soak City and Volcano Bay? In some ways, I like Volcano Bay more. In some ways, I like Soak City more. Both have a tropical theme to them. Both are very similar. Soak City may not have an actual icon. Yes, Soak City has the most bland wave pool I've ever seen in my life. I definitely would say my favorite wave pool I've ever seen is definitely Typhoon Lagoons, but it's not every day you see a wave pool that cool. And trust me, I would love to go back to Typhoon Lagoon and go do a wave pool there. I've heard people bring their own surfboards to Typhoon Lagoon, and I think that would just be the neatest thing to see that, because I have not yet seen it. But anyway, so why overall did I say Soak City was better? And a lot of it is just due with the fact that one thing that Kings Island does for their guests at Universal does not do is the price to get into Soak City is significantly cheaper. Like, let's just eliminate the whole pass holder thing out of the equation. If you are a standard guest, and this is the biggest problem I have of Universal's Volcano Bay, even from the very first day I went. First of all, Volcano Bay costs at least $100 to $150 to go into for just one person. Soak City is anywhere from $50 to $100. I mean, talk about a price difference. Secondly, you're paying the same standard pricing for parking to get into either Soak City or Kings Island. It doesn't matter. $25. Universal, you can go to Soak City or Volcano Bay for $35. The only thing that I like differently, or that I like about Volcano Bay, and I discovered this on my very first time going there, was the fact that Volcano Bay has its own separate section of the parking garage, which I think is cool. But otherwise, it's just, one of those things. And then last but not least, another thing I've definitely noticed that's different from Volcano Bay to Soak City as far as the cost of factor goes is the fact that I definitely have noticed that they even charge more for kids to go to Volcano Bay versus Soak City. I understand that Universal is a big name company. I get it. And Kings Island, not so much. And that's another problem I have with, Central Florida now that I've been away for 5 years, is I'm seeing a lot of these big name companies charging a ton of money for their parks, when a place like Kings Island, which is still pretty well known, isn't charging anywhere near as much. And I don't get it. I mean, I can get, with my Gold Pass discount, somebody into Kings Island and Soak City for $40. And that's something else I've noticed too that's, frustrating. I mean, as a bonus, The price to get into Kings Island is the same price to get into Soak City. It works both ways. It doesn't work that way with Universal. You can either do a 2-park admission, Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida, for a cheaper price, or you can add on the 3-park admission for a much higher price. And imagine when they add on the 4th park, Epic Universe, they're going to charge even more. They think they can get away with it. They think they can charge an additional cost just because you're paying to go see Volcano Bay. I mean, just paying to go to Volcano Bay alone is high. It's crazy. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could do the math, but the last time I checked, it was like $70, $80. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to $100 by now. But anyway, I don't remember which one is next. I think I am heading towards attending my first ride grand opening ever, which was Jimmy Fallon, Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. But I really enjoyed doing this one because I really was able to go into not just my first experience, but I was able to nitpick at Volcano Bay and just mention like flaws I noticed for the very first day and just like my personal experience. And then I was even able to compare that to my local water park and how the two compare. So I will see you guys in the next vlog. Now, I would love to do another vlog, but there's 2 reasons why I'm not going to. A, my Chromebook battery is low. Very low. And I don't have enough battery for another vlog at this point today. And secondly, Katie is on her way here, and she's going to take a nap in this room before we begin our first lesson on karate tonight together. So I am going to take this time to charge my Chromebook and just kind of do whatever until Katie gets here. And when Katie does get here, I actually have to head to AAA because apparently in my car, I'm thinking ahead. My fluid, my coolant, and my windshield wiper fluid are both lower than usual. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to AAA and have them take care of that. And then I'll go ahead and fill up my car, come back, switch out cars, and then go fill up her car too. So I got enough to keep myself busy for a little bit yet, but I really enjoyed this once again, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. I believe I don't have anything going on this week. I should be able to vlog tomorrow too, because tomorrow Katie's working 12 to 8, and since I have spent the past 2 days sleeping so much, and with Katie working late, even if I wanted to come home and take a nap, and I also have to clean the guinea pig cage tonight. That's another thing I got to take care of. But I just, for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and do an additional vlog tomorrow, and I'm going to do my next chapter on how I met Venita. I normally don't vlog on Tuesdays, but this week is special because Katie is working late tomorrow. So I am going to do an additional vlog, but this is unusual. And then make sure you watch my YouTube channel on Sunday, July 7th, because I'm going to be filming the very last day of Kings Island's Bazillion Bubble Show. And I think you guys will really enjoy that. And I'm going to be filming the entire show. I cannot wait. I've heard nothing but good things, but always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.